See 'em? Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home red state update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
Folks, people, welcome to the Red State Update podcast. My name is Dirty Dunlap, Dirtlap, the Dirt Nap. It is your cousin, friend Dunlap, the man. The best part of your day, the best part of waking up is Dirtlap, the Dirt Nap in your cup. Hey, I got a question. Where the fuck is Jackie? Jackie Broyles, my elderly, addled, smelly, gross to look at also. You ever meet one of those people who's gross to look at, smell, hear, not just his voice, but every time he moves, things click and rattle and stretch and pull. It's just like a sack like if you made a sack out of skin, like if you skinned a human being and made a sack out of it, but then didn't take care of that sack, and just left it out in the sun or in the back of your car, and then it was full of cue balls and old bones from animal carcasses and paperback Babysitter Club books that were also left out in the sun, so they were yellowed and brittle, and jars. That's what it's like to sit next to Jackie Broyles. Smell also, smell-wise, I'd say that's an accurate description. But he's not here right now, and I guess I have to say fondness makes the heart grow. I mean, I wouldn't say fonder. I'd say actually that saying's not true. Although I do wonder where he is when an old person wanders off. You do start to get concerned because you're like, well, now I got to go to the funeral home. I got to pick out all that shit. Oh. Sorry, everybody, that's my ringtone. Who could be calling me from Oklahoma? Is this News on 6 meteorologist Lacey Swope?
What?
God damn it. Jackie, what are you doing?
I'm calling you. I'm letting you know where I'm at. I need you to run over to my home and check on Mrs. Broyles for me. I had to leave town. I wasn't able to inform her. Now she got a home health nurse. He'll be there in the morning. But you need to go over there. If you can, just check on her for me.
I was already over there. She told me she wanted me to eat up all that pimento cheese. I think that's what she said. I did it anyway. What? She's fine.
Is she okay? That's all that matters. Is she all right?
She seemed fine. I turned on Netflix for her and put on that teenage suicide show, so she seemed caught up in that.
Well, I don't know what that is, but as long as she's all right. Look, I'm awful sorry I can't be there to do the podcast on there. Are you down at Lake Canovers?
Yeah, I'm here at Lake Canovers. It's a hotbed of activity here, folks. Lake Canover, that may be confusing to you when I say Lake Canover. Let me explain to you who that is. It's Link Can Opener is probably how most people know it.
That's his nickname, yeah.
Every time I hear it, it takes me back a little bit. I'm like, who is that? But it's Link Can Opener. So every time I say Link Canover, and you're like, it takes you out of it, and you're like, who could that be? Remember, maybe make a note or write it down on a sticky note and put it on.
All right. It's his nickname, Link Can Opener, yeah, but you're over there.
I'm over here in the place where he makes kudzu suits. Now, where are you at? Are you at the store? Hey, can you pick me up some pimento cheese?
No, I ain't at the store nowhere. No, I had to go out of town. Look, after last week, after we did our podcast, you know, it's going so good, and people are coming into the kudzu suits. Well, Lane Canover, he asked me, would I do a little extra promotion, or he'd give me an extra $25 to try one of the cuts, because I ain't never put one on. I don't see the point in it for me, but anyway, he said, can we get a picture of you with this on?
I bet you look like something that was decomposing into the earth.
What? It didn't look like I had shrubbery on, is all it was. But as soon as they put that on, sure enough, we heard some little mouth sounds, and yep, there was one in there. There was a dwarf-eared mutt squirrel burrowed in this particular kudzu suit, so now I made my way to Elk City, Oklahoma. You got to follow the law by the number, so this is where I'm at.
So you had a squirrel, so you bought a suit and it had a squirrel in it, or you just picked one up when you were outside?
I didn't buy a suit. I wouldn't spend money on that. No, he wanted to get a picture of me. He took a picture of it for the commercial promotion, whatever the hell it is.
I think I did see you on his Instagram, but I thought somebody had just taken a picture of a deceased relative at the funeral home.
Huh?
I get a lot of that in my feed. I probably need to clean that up.
Well, I don't know what Graham's is, whatever's on there. I don't know the first thing about it. But listen, you're going to have to do this without me, I reckon, because I don't know what the hell. I'm going to be a little longer than I thought. I thought I'd get here to Elk City, hand over the code, or do the proper extraction, as they call it, removing the dwarf-eared mud squirrels. But somehow between Murfreesboro and Elk City, Oklahoma, because when I left, there wasn't but one dwarf-eared mud squirrel in that suit. Turns out, I guess, another one somehow got in there, and you know what happens when they get in the conditions of a coat like this. As soon as they get in there, and the temperature's just right, everything, they do their, nature business, And sure enough, that's what's happened. So now,
what, they went to the bathroom all over you?
No, it's for mating purposes. We don't know why, but the kudzu suit, if two of them get in there, it's over with.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, if you're wearing a suit that's plants and it's got two squirrels in it, they went to the bathroom all over you, whether you know it or not.
All right.
If they're fucking in there, you think they ain't?
It's in the suit. It ain't on me, but the suit's on me, but there's kind of a liner, and I can't describe it, but no, I ain't got a bunch of squirrel mess on me, no.
Is the liner plant-based as well?
And some sort of vine or something. I think it's part of it is. I can't take it off to look at it, so I don't know.
You were supposed to keep them squirrels from breeding. If you have a jacket with two squirrels in it, you got to keep them from breeding until you get to Elk City. No, wait.
No, you don't. They want them to breed. They're endangered species. That's a good thing. It's a positive thing that they're breeding.
No, but they can't breed till they get to Mason City, Iowa. Isn't that the law?
The law is if you have one, you go to Elk City, Oklahoma. If there's two of them in your coat and they're doing, nature calls, whatever, they're doing what's happening, then you go to Mason City, Iowa.
I think you gotta look that law up, man. They cannot breed until you get to Mason City, Iowa. If you're at Elk City now and those squirrels start breeding, that's another fine.
What are you talking about? How the hell am I supposed to get in there? If I can't touch them and take the coat off, how the hell am I supposed to get them to quit doing that?
It's sort of a hula hoop motion. You got to keep the centrifugal force going so that one squirrel stays on one side of your jacket and the other one, horny as hell, is on the other side. If they fuck before you get to Mason City, Iowa,
watch your mouth.
That's going to be double the fine, man.
Hey, a hula hoop? What? Hula hoop motion?
Yeah, just you just keep one squirrel on, you just get that hipper going so that you got one squirrel and then you get the hipper going and you got a squirrel over there.
Let me see if I can do it. Hang on.
Is that squirrels or it sounds like a bunch of mouse traps going off?
They get the chattering, they sound their chattering in there. Yep, there they go. They're making some noise, but I just try to ignore them.
Now, you got to keep them from getting busy.
All right, there you go. They're quieting down now. But, yep, once they get to going, you just got to wait for them to start. With luck out there, I ain't gonna do no hula hoop thing because they just get you riled up. I can't do that.
Well, I hope you got.
I gotta find a way to be comfortable, and I guess they do too. Because this situation, I don't appreciate it none. I didn't want to wear no kudzu suit. I was just trying to do him a favor, get $25 for the pocket. And now I'm stuck in Elk City, Oklahoma. I got to figure out how to make my way to Mason City, Iowa.
Yeah, you better hope them squirrels made a pledge to Jesus and are wearing a purity ring, because if you don't make it to Mason City, Iowa, that while you're there, that's really close to where the Buddy Holly plane went down. You should walk out in that field and take a look at the gravesite.
Oh yeah, a Big Bopper, yeah.
They got a memorial.
I can do my Big Bopper.
Do that.
All right, let's see.
Oh, wait.
I'm gonna do.
Do you think it's gonna make the squirrels horny?
Why would the squirrel don't know who Big Bopper is? They don't know the first thing about it. Let's see if I can do it. Hello, baby. That's what you should do. Call up a woman.
That's pretty good. It's kind of Bob Newhart. The Big Bopper is a little like before Bob Newhart. Remember, he's like, Bob Newhart used to be on the phone, and he'd be like, "What are you saying to me?" That's what the Big Bopper does too. He's like, will I do what?" Like old Bob Newhart. Listen, Jackie, how are you going to get to Mason City, Iowa? Are you going to call an Uber?
Uber? What? Now I'm talking to one of the rangers here. He's going to arrange. There's a bus I'm supposed to catch, and I'm just doing whatever they tell me here. I don't know what else to do.
Wait a minute. Is this a bus like a regular, like a Greyhound, or is this like a shuttle bus full of people wearing kudzu suits with squirrels in them?
Well, no, they moved me all into another section where that's exactly what it is. Now, I don't know if we're all getting on the same bus or what's happening, but they moved us here. And, if you ain't got but one squirrel in your suit, they'll take it, they take it from you, and they put the coat in one place and they put you in another place for whatever they call decontamination. I don't know what it is. But if you got two of them in here, we're in these they got like a couple of tents set up, and we're all rounded up over here. I'm up toward the office right now using the payphone.
Are you sure this isn't Close Encounters?
What?
It sounds to me like they're trying to cover up an alien invasion.
What the hell's that got to do with dwarf-eared squirrels? Butt squirrels.
How hot is it there? Is it real hot?
It's warm. This suit keeping me a little something about the greenery of it keeps it cool. Again, that goes back to why it's so good to mate in it for the squirrels. The temperature just right for them to, be in the mood, I reckon, or whatever it is. So it keeps me a little cool, but I just feel like I'm wearing a bunch of shrubbery.
And maybe you'll find a nice kudzu suit wearing lady, and you'll find out how good it feels for a human to mate in it.
Oh, shut up.
I'm just kidding, Jackie. I'm just kidding. Jackie, I got a sponsor this week that I think you're really going to like. If you got time, do you have to go?
Well, it's nice to talk to somebody that ain't got a squirrel on them, so I still got phone time, yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'd hate for you to go past your phone. I do have to say, I have a bone to pick with you, Jackie Broles. I know it's sad that you're so far away from me when we're usually here doing this together, but I got a small bone to pick with you. You fucking idiot. You're supposed to be the fuck here.
What?
We got a baloney race coming up, a get-out-of-town match, my baloney cart versus the Bubble Up Baloney crew.
Oh, hell. You do that on your own. I got bigger problems here. I got two dwarf-head mutt squirrels doing the business in my coat. I got to get all the way to Mason City, Iowa, and you want me to come there and do baloney? What? No.
So you're telling me that getting those squirrels to Mason City, Iowa is more important than doing my baloney cart race? I'd say that's a toss-up.
I'd say one is the law and one isn't.
Well, there's baloney law, and I have to abide by it. And if I lose the baloney cart race, and they keep adding obstacles to it, there's baloney law. And if I lose a get-out-of-town race, I have to pack up my baloney cart and get the hell out of here. And I saw Martin and Dixie carting the other day, and they were doing calisthenics. They were doing hot yoga. They were doing
They can do whatever they want to. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't give a damn what to do.
They bought new matching workout outfits. They're doing all this right in front of me. I'm sitting up there with my baloney cart, people coming by, slapping their hands on it. I'm having to scrape the flesh off. I don't have anybody with a broom handle like you used to do, like you had a job and you had one job and you abandoned me. Now people just slapping their palms on there left and right. I'm trying to sell sandwiches that flip baloney, get people to stop slapping their hands on it. And also, I'm watching Martin and Dixie Carton parade their toned asses in front of me. I don't mind it, really, but it's starting to get on my nerves. It's the smugness. It's not the assness. It's the smugness. Their asses are fine.
All right. I don't want to hear it.
I'm just behind, ass-wise. I'm way behind.
Look. You got your problems, I got my problems. I think mine's a little more, I would hope you'd be a little concerned about me out here in the middle of Elk City, Oklahoma, not knowing where I'm at, not knowing where I'm going. I mean, I know where I'm going, but not knowing how to get there. If you're sitting there worried about your damn baloney cart, we can make baloney anytime. I'll be back. You'll make all the baloney you want.
Their Jackie Impersonator is in so much better shape than you are. Maybe this is
for him.
You're right. Maybe this is good. Maybe I should just go to their hot yoga class and look for the oldest, most grizzled, creepiest man in there and ask him if he wants to be a Jackie impersonator for my baloney cart race. Because I'll be honest, I'm going to have a heart attack. My heart's going to explode. And it's fucking hot, too. It may not be Elk City, Oklahoma hot, but it's hot.
Well, watch your mouth. I don't care how hot it is. You don't need to say it that way.
Listen, if you run into meteorologist Lacey Swope, she started out in Oklahoma City and she just moved to News on 6 in Tulsa. So,
what is it?
If meteorologist Lacey Swope started out in Oklahoma City, she just moved to News on 6 there in Tulsa.
What does that got to do with me? I don't know first thing about what you're talking about.
Hey, if you see her, just tell her I said hi.
I ain't going to see, unless she's got a squirrel in a kudzu suit, I ain't going to see it.
Well, that's sexist, Jackie.
How is that? What?
I thought that was a sexist term, squirrel in a kudzu suit.
What is?
I guess it's not.
Kudzu suit ain't it's just a suit.
It just sounds like one of those.
Women wear it.
It sounds like locker room talk. Oh, that girl's a squirrel in a kudzu suit.
Well, I didn't.
Jackie,
say nothing of it.
I know you're from a different generation, but come on.
What? Wait, come on to what? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Sexist. All right. Well, Jackie, I guess I'm just going to lose a baloney race thanks to you. And then all the money that you invested from that check I stole out of your checkbook is going to go right down the drain.
What? Money out of my checkbook? What the hell? You better not be in my damn checkbook.
I needed a small $1,000 loan.
Oh, hell.
So I just signed your name, which is really easy to do. You just make it look like a chicken having a stroke got a hold of a pen.
All right. You better not. That's it. That you talk about legal matters. It may be legal for me to be here in Elk City, Oklahoma, but it sure as hell will be legal for you to be locked up if you done mess with my checkbook in any way.
Jackie, we've known each other a long time, and you've only pressed charges like twice.
Well, 3 times are coming if you serious.
I'm the one that should be pressing charges against you because you abandoned me in the middle of baloney race training.
Just go tell them I'm out of town. First off, I don't want to be in no baloney roast.
Race?
Whatever it is. I'll cook a baloney for you. That's my only function. I ain't going to do it fast. I ain't going to run and do it. No. If you
got to.
Cook off it, well, you do it fast. Don't even worry about me there. But if it was just me cooking, then you go tell them to put it off a week, and I'll at least I hope a week. I would assume after I get there, I can come on home. I don't know how long it's going to get me over there.
That's a brilliant idea, Jackie. I'm going to get ringers. I'm going to find a toned old man and a toned young, handsome man whose ass is just the slightest bit more muscular than mine. But that slightest bit may be all the advantage we need. A Dunlap impersonator and a Jackie impersonator to run the Baloney cart. Dunlap Sam's the Baloney man, Baloney cart versus the Bubble Up Baloney crew. Jackie, brilliant idea. I can sit back in disguise and watch as a Dunlap with a fine ass runs rings around that stupid ass Martin and Dixie Carton in their Bubble Up Baloney crew cart.
Well,
thanks, Lacey. It was great hearing about all the weather, and now we're going to turn it over to whoever does sports.
Who are you talking to?
Operator, can you get me Jackie Broles, please?
But there ain't no operator. It's just me on here.
Ma'am, could you please connect me to Jackie Broles? I was just speaking with him, and then we played
This is me. I'm still on the phone.
That was a test, Jackie. A privacy test. I was trying to see if anyone else was on the line, if I'd throw them off.
Privacy test. Who the hell wants to listen to either one of us on the phone, let alone a podcast? I don't know.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I think you'd have to pay somebody to go through our data.
Yeah.
Nobody's
going to do that on their free will, yeah.
Jackie?
What?
On Twitter, do you know what Twitter is?
It's a computer.
On Twitter, I posted, it's hard to make jokes when President Dumbass is putting babies in cages. And then I said, luckily we stopped being funny years ago. But then somebody, and I always forget who it is that talks to us on these things, but somebody said, this is going to be the podcast where Jackie says fuck.
No, I think, I ain't going to use that language, but the sentiment is there. If I were a man who used that kind of language, I'd never stop doing it. Like old, what's his name? Al Pacino.
Yeah.
On TV.
Al Pacino come out. He said, "Fuck President Dumbass."
All right, I know what he said. I don't need to hear you repeat it.
Could you at least?
He says that in all his movies. That's kind of like his catchphrase or whatever.
That's a good
all
point.
His movies, he's using language like that.
So it means nothing. Then he says it all the time. So what? If you said it, said it.
No.
What if you?
This would be the time to say it. If anyone was going, if I was ever going to say it, that'd be the time. But I ain't going to use that language. No.
What if you just called him President Shitass? At least.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay. For a second there, I thought you didn't care.
I'm not going to do it right this minute. Like let's talk about him a little bit. Got to get me worked up. I can't just start a cut.
Just make it natural. Well. For a second there, I thought maybe you didn't care about the fact that we, the United States of America, God's shining jewel on this planet Earth, Jesus put us here for a reason, I thought.
Yep.
And now it looks like if there was a reason, it was to put babies in cages, which doesn't seem like something Jesus would want unless he was creating a super villain for him to fight when he returns to Earth.
Yeah, that's the only reason I could think, and he ain't even got to do that. I had what is it? baby prison for these dangerous immigrant babies. And I read somewhere all these children, of course, they got babies are bad enough, but also toddlers and children, teenagers are bad. If they ain't done nothing wrong, don't lock them. They don't belong in jail, I don't think. I don't think that's a way to raise a child.
Well, here in America, Jackie, now that we elected President Trump, I mean, are these white babies?
No.
Oh,
well, in the prison? No.
Yeah, that's why they're putting them in there because Trump and a huge portion of the people who voted for him who are okay with this, which is what, 30% of the people. 30%
of the country is all right with people. I think it might be less than that because he had to change his tune today. And I ain't ever seen him pull it. I'm glad that he did, and I don't want to mock him for doing it because I'm glad. It's still terrible, whatever they're doing. But supposedly, from now on, he ain't going to separate them, the families anymore, is what he said. But tomorrow, he could change his mind. Hey, don't he have a rally somewhere tonight?
He's got a rally in Minnesota where...
If all those people start chanting baby cage, baby cage, baby cage, he'll change it. He'll go back tomorrow. You wait and see.
And that sounds like we're making a joke, but that could literally be happening right now.
Yep, I know.
I don't even know.
You can't make jokes about this stuff. You can't make jokes about it. It's.
If you had told me 10 years ago when we started doing this, way back when President George W. Bush was president, if you said, you know what, in 15 years, Trump is going to be president and he's going to be putting Hispanic babies in cages, I'd have been like, that's it's not really a joke, and it's pretty dark. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. How would Trump ever get elected? Plus, I don't think you're saying the country's going to get, you're either saying the country's going to get more racist as time goes on, or we're more racist now than I suspected, or
we've been racist all along, and just people knew better than to bring it up. They knew better. You'd lose your job if you went to work cussing other races or whatever. But then President Trump come along, and everybody thinks it's okay. Those Charlottesville people, the Nazis that went on Charlottesville, they getting ready for another big march. I think an anniversary march is going to be in Washington. There was a time when Nazis come out, there wasn't but 10 or 12 of them at most.
And they wouldn't get an anniversary. Like there was a time in this country, if a bunch of Nazis showed up somewhere, that was the only time they were going to show up.
Yeah.
Like they would have been dispersed. Now they get to celebrate an anniversary. What the fuck? Like, when did that?
That's because President, I'll say it now, President shit ass.
Yes!
Excuse my language.
Yes!
Excuse my language. He made it okay to be racist. People were always racist. Always, always. But they had better sense than to talk about it unless they had a sheet over their head, had a secret meeting somewhere in a barn or wherever the hell.
And so you tell me how, if somebody listening to this may be, well, they racist. Everybody always say race. How do you defend, how do you explain, not even defend, anybody being okay with the baby jail if race does not enter into it? And race is in it because every fucking thing that they say, from President Trump talking about, oh, they're infesting us, and we're not going to have all these. They don't want anybody here who ain't white. Make America great again. It's there from the beginning, but you don't have to look that hard. They're all saying it. Jeff Sessions is saying they don't want it. Jeff Sessions, what's he say about Nazis? And well, they were trying to keep the Jews. No, here's the difference between us and the Nazis. They were trying to keep them. which isn't even true. But when he's like saying, no, we're not like Nazis because we're not right. He could say a bunch of things, but he's just going for the technicality.
Well, yeah.
And Stephen Miller. Miller.
He's the worst, yeah.
He's the worst. So you can't say that there's no racial component to this when Stephen Miller is only concerned about the fucking white purity complexion of this country. He says it. He says it in like a nerdy way. He doesn't say, get them all out of here. He's like, he does. I mean, it's all blurred together. So if you're saying, if you're defending the baby jail and you're like, they always did this, or what about Obama when he did that? Or if you break the law and go to jail, they're going to separate you from you. You're defending putting babies in jail. No matter what, you're defending that. You're arguing with somebody about putting babies in jail.
You ought to see Trump supporters. They're mad at the media for showing them this. They're like, don't try to get me crying about all these babies. Quit putting this on TV. I've had enough of it. Leave it in the baby in the cage where it belongs, and don't tell me nothing about it.
Just don't show it to me. If you show it to me, I'm gonna get worked up. It's like I know Snoopy.
And they don't like to hear it. They don't want to hear the babies crying. Like, don't show it to me. Don't hear it. Keep them in the cages. But I don't want to know nothing about it.
It's like I know Snoopy Come Home exists and it will make me cry, but don't show it to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that tracks.
That's Snoopy, Charlie Brown Snoopy. I know what it is.
Let me tell you what people are more worried about than babies in cages. They're worried about Peter Fonda.
Who?
Why does anybody... Let me also tell you why Trump people get so upset about people like Peter Fonda and Kathy Griffin, because they think that's what celebrities are. They don't have any celebrities of their own who outrank Kathy Griffin in star power. Like, Kathy Griffin is a bigger star than... even before the Trump head thing, than any conservative celebrity. So
and she ain't even that big a star either. So
Peter Fonda is it's like James Dean to Trump heads. Peter Fonda is like James Dean is hugging Kelsey Grammer, and Marilyn Monroe's sitting on their shoulders. I don't know why Kelsey Grammer's in there. But that's how big of a star Peter Fonda. But Peter Fonda,
he ain't done nothing. And he was. I know what. That's Henry Fonda's boy. He riding a motorcycle around.
I feel like he's...
What the hell they mad at him for? What'd he say?
He was on Twitter. He got on Twitter and said they should put Barron Trump in a cage with a pedophile, because he was talking about, I think, some of the reports of the abuse. Look, I don't have to defend Peter Fonda. I'm not here to defend Peter Fonda.
No, but here's the difference. Let me tell you right now. He said it, which he shouldn't have said. I'll admit that, but it just come out of his mouth. The president is putting babies in prison. He's doing it. There's a difference between saying something and then doing it. You ought not say what he said. But as far as I'm concerned, between them two, which one I'm more mad about is the actual babies that are in the baby prison.
Like, well, what if what somebody ought to do is, what's that matter? Look, people can get mad at Peter Fonda. That seems sort of like a waste of time. I'm going to be honest. If you want to get mad at Peter Fonda, I just... no matter what he does or says, I mean, really, he could, steal your wallet, and it still feels like a waste of time to be mad at Peter Fonda. He just seems to have been in... hasn't he been having, a really slow and laid-back comeback since, that B movie?
Yeah.
It's like 20 years. So Peter Fonda.
Ghost Rider.
Oh, was he in Ghost Rider?
Remember, we used to watch Ghost Rider. I don't like them superhero movies. I kind of like Ghost Rider. But he's the devil. That's right. He plays a devil.
Oh, I forgot.
In Ghost Rider.
Also, people saying, well, what about you all liberals mad at Corey Lewandowski for making fun of a poor kid and mentally handicapped, right? What's the
yeah? Now I believe there's a young girl that had Down syndrome.
Yeah,
and they ripped her apart from her mother, and he made a cartoon sound or something like that. Thought that was cute.
And then I saw people on Twitter, just don't look on Twitter. People on Twitter saying, well, what about Corey Lewandowski? Peter Fonda, nobody's mad at Peter Fonda, and Corey Lewandowski, they're all mad at him, and he did. But Corey Lewandowski worked for the president. He's on TV all the time. Peter Fonda is, he barely exists. He's sort of like Thistledown, that every once in a while assembles into a 75-year-old man. And
all I remember last thing he did was Ghost Rider. I don't know what. I guess he's on Twitter twitters or whatever, but that's about it. I don't know.
He got pretty mad. Look, I just wanted to make some Peter Fonda jokes. I don't have anything. There's not a lot of good stuff in this situation.
Those Fondas got good genes, though. They stick around for a long time. How old was Henry Fonda when he died?
Is he dead? He may still be alive.
Yes, Henry Fonda. His daddy's dead. He's probably his daddy's age. That's it.
I think he's
Henry Fonda on Golden Pond. He was older than hell. He looked too old to be in a movie, quite honestly, but he still did a good job. And then Jane Fonda, she's old as hell, too. They all live a long time, them Fondas.
I think if one terrible fate might be being locked in a cage with Peter Fonda.
I wouldn't want it, no.
But let me just say, I'm not going to tell anybody how to fight their wars on putting babies in cages. I'm just guessing it's going to be a distraction if we say somebody go get Barron. Nobody wants that. That poor kid.
No.
That poor kid's been through enough. But
his life's going to be rough on his own. You don't need to put him in a cage. It's going to be. I mean, he don't have plenty of money.
He will have all that money.
I don't know. Well, will he have any money when all this all over with? I don't know if any of them will.
I don't know exactly what's going to be happening here in this nation in, say, 3 years.
I have no idea, because if we was putting babies in prison, then God only knows. That's something I thought I would never live to see, which I hadn't lived to see.
It's really hard to. I mean, this is all easy for some people on Twitter to accept because they don't think of these people as people. There's been a lot of dehumanizing terms thrown around since Trump rode that escalator down to the fucking ground and said all Mexicans are rapists or whatever you want to believe he said.
Yeah.
So everybody sees somebody coming across the border, they're a Mexican and they're in MI-13. All these Trump heads, that's all these people are. They're monsters. They're leeches. Like these kids, they're not even really kids. Like the people don't have any sympathy. Look, if Franklin Graham says something is bad, if Franklin Graham and Peter Fonda are on the same side of an issue, and you're sitting there saying, well, it's not really a cage, you're fucked up. You're wrong.
Mouth, but yeah.
If you're...
Well, that's half of Fox News is that. That's all they did all night was just, as soon as the sun goes down, they talking about how great it is that children love to be in cages. It's summertime. We need more kids in cages. Make more cages. Bring more kids. Nothing wrong with this at all.
So when people start to lose their mind and say, put your kids in cages, that doesn't seem... nobody's coming to put your kids in cages. But when kids are in cages and you're saying, who cares if kids are in cages? Or those aren't really cages. For the other person to sort of lose it a little bit and say, your kids. That makes sense to me. That seems like an understandable reaction. Because how do you get through to somebody when they see and hear a bunch of babies crying in cages that America, the land of the free, is doing to them babies? America did that. Us, we did it. You and me, Jackie.
You ain't got to remind me. America elected that president shit-ass, excuse my language.
Yes. How do you get through to somebody? Well, maybe you go like, your kids. It's not helpful. It's not going to. But then somebody saying it's not a cage isn't helpful either. Somebody saying, well, they did it in Obama, which isn't true, also isn't helpful.
Well, they went and said that. Well, of course, he changed it today because the blowback was more than they could stand. Got the midterms coming up. Don't you know Republicans are all messing themselves in the pants because they're scared all the damn time. So you know what was on extra. They were changing the drawers by the hour all day yesterday.
See, I don't even know. You tell me. Is what he signed today going to do a fucking thing? Is it just going to cause more problems? Like, I don't know. If you're telling me this solved anything, I doubt it. There's all these kids already in cages.
The problem is already the problem. There are children all over the country taken away from their families. They don't have any documentation. They don't have anything. Most of these kids ain't never going to see the damage has been done. If they stop doing it, good. I'm glad. But don't give him a pass because he changed it. No, there's like 2,000, 10,000 children. They don't know where they belong.
What's going to happen to these kids? These are human children. These are babies like your fucking
all
babies.
Across the country, so we're going to end up taking care of them anyway. Some people just rather you take care of them in a cage.
You can't take kids away from people. You just can't do it. It's not going to end well.
No.
If you care about this country, if you care about anything other than meanness and cruelty, then you would say there's got to be a better way. Even if you're like, I hate Mexicans, but I don't want to cause further problems, you would say, well, let's not take the babies away because that's just going to leave a bunch of really fucked up babies here.
Yeah.
We're going to have to deal with them at some point. Now, just from a management point of view, you have a bunch of babies that are going to be really fucked up. So even if you don't have any room in your heart, even if your heart is puckered up tighter than the Grinch's asshole, and you have no room in there, because his asshole's tight. Even if you got no room in there for nothing, the least it seems like you might do is go, well, this just doesn't seem like a good idea. I don't mind putting babies in cages, but I just think maybe we should study this a little more. But no, this is Trump, President Trump. He's not the anti-president. A president might be like, well, I'm going to lead the country and I'm going to come together and bring a few healing words. I think the best, if there was an actual president who actually thought this was a good idea, he'd come out, he'd tell the country a few things. This is the anti-president. He just lets some racists run his whole racist White House. He comes out, he plays a couple sides off each other. He pretends, the babies is so bad. And then he's like, well, but what you got to do, you got to put them in the thing. He's like, I'm going to sign some nonsense and now the babies are okay. Look, I did a thing. I'm going to Minnesota so that people can go, yay, racist. But they didn't vote for him.
All week, he read. Remember when he ran for office? This is wrong and this is wrong, and only I can fix it. Said it over and over again. Only I can fix it. And then all last week, only Democrats can fix this. Even though they're the minority, I know we own the House and Senate, but there ain't nobody who can take care of this but the Democrats. Well, it turns out he could take care of it. If taking care of it means putting the whole family in a cage as opposed to putting them in cages separately. Because that's pretty much what I think he did. That's what it boiled down to.
Well, at least we got Space Force.
What is it?
Space Force. Remember when he come out and said, we're going to start Space Force? And a few people were like, Space Force, that's funny. But then this was also when the majority of Americans were waking up to the horror that our country was putting kids in cages. So Space Force didn't get...
You ain't never going to hear about Space. Space Force was for that day only, trying to get us to be excited about Space Force instead of, rounding people up, putting them in camps. You'll never hear Space Force again. That's the end of that. Space Force.
It's been a rough week.
For our country, yes. We got out of what I ain't crazy about the UN, but the one good part about UN is human rights and stuff like that. Nikki Haley said no more, That's basically the same thing as him saying the football team can't come because he knew they didn't want to come, so he had to cancel them beforehand. It's the same thing, and they about to kick our bare ends out of that. Call up Nikki Haley. Go ahead and get us out.
It doesn't make a lot of sense that we'd be in a human rights.
We don't belong in not this country, and that's what we're doing now. No, sir. I don't know what to do. I'm halfway across the country. Hell, I want to drive down there and stand in the middle and try to get. But hell, I'm an old man. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do.
It's hard to know what to do, Jackie. I don't even know if I'm supposed to feel happy that Paul Manafort is in jail or not.
I know he ain't happy.
I guess that gives me a small amount. Now, let's be clear here. Paul Manafort is not a baby. He's not a child.
Not at all.
I don't know if his parents are alive. I'm going to assume that they've passed away. I don't know what they're...
He's white as can be.
He's white as can be. I don't know if he had a good relationship with his parents, but I'm hoping that he did, and I hope that he got to enjoy many years alongside of them. I hope for nothing more for this old man than to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Well, that's probably what's going to happen. Everybody's saying he's waiting for Trump to pardon him and all that. I wonder about half the time. Is he waiting on Trump, or does he know if he says something, the Russians will kill him?
I don't know.
You won't go to jail. You want the Russians to come up behind you and poison you or whatever else they do.
Well, how many people that Mueller's after have to make that choice? That the Russians will get me, or I can go to jail. I don't even know. Do the Russians think any of these people are threats, or do they think they're just idiots?
They probably think that they're idiots, but that means that they're idiots too, because they went in, they did business with them.
I just feel like the Russians were laughing.
I've lost count of how many of Trump's people had meetings with Russian spies or somebody connected to the Kremlin. I don't even know anymore.
How would you even keep up with all those meetings? They're like, oh, I don't remember this meeting or that meeting. Like, I can't even. I guess so, because there were so many meetings with Russians.
We never met with Russians. I don't know. You talk about that. Oh, hell, that's Jeff Sessions. Remember?
How did
that
they
happened a long time ago.
Look, these people, if you're, I don't want to be one of these run down the government types, because I think that helped us get into this position. So let's just say,
well, yeah,
Some government people may be good at lying. This government's people is the only thing they're good at is lying. All week long, everybody in the goddamn Trump administration lied about these babies in cages. Were they babies? Were they in cages? Can we get them out? Is there a policy? Is there not a policy? It's all? Are we proud of this? Are we ashamed of it? Is it the Democrats' fault? Did Jesus tell us to do it? He did not.
Nope.
I'm getting back on the babies in jail.
Well, it's hard
Jackie.
to get off of it, really. It is. Oh, let's move on and talk about something else. No, they're babies in cages. What else is there to talk about?
I saw people online saying, oh, this is just a bunch of people who hate Trump virtue signaling. You know what that is, Jackie? Just when you get on Twitter and you pretend that you care about something, you go, oh, how dare they put babies in cages? Like, that's not, I'm pretty sure most people don't want babies in cages. There's something weird if you do.
Depends on what color the baby is.
Let me tell you something. I don't have any virtue. I have no virtue, okay? I'm a terrible person. I have tasted my own shit.
Well,
but I know immediately that it's wrong to put a fucking baby in a jail, in a cage, and to say, we're doing this to teach their parents a lesson. Jesus fucking Christ. If Jesus came down and heard that, he would say Jesus fucking Christ. That's not blasphemy. That's not blasphemy. That's the fucking truth.
Well, I don't need to hear it over and over again. If Jesus says it, I'll accept it, but I don't need to hear it from you.
Let me tell you, that's how bad things are. What normally would have seemed like blasphemy has now become just the truth. So, yes, I'm pretty sure, Jackie, we've convinced everybody that they were wrong and that babies shouldn't be in cages. And that Paul Manafort should be in a cage. What color do you think his hair is now?
Is that real hair?
No, I'm just assuming when you're in jail, do they let you dye your hair?
I don't know if that's his real hair.
Oh, you think it's a toupee?
It might. I mean, if it was, he ain't got that no more. They take that from him.
So his hair is either turning gray or it's been ripped off his head.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah.
Gross.
He better get comfortable. He got 3 months before he goes on trial, I think. And then after that, after he gets convicted, then that's the rest of his damn life.
Unless Trump pardons him.
Well, yeah.
But, you know, Trump could actually just be like, I don't like people who get put in jail. You really can't predict what Trump's going to do.
You can. I think it pretty much matters is worth anything to me. If he decides he ain't going to get nothing out of getting Paul Manafort out of prison, then he will let him sit in there.
General Kelly, another person friendly to putting babies in prisons.
Yeah, that was it. He was one of the first to come up with the idea. He was like, you know what, we might just do that.
Plus, everybody is like, he's a smart one. He's trying to keep Trump out of trouble. And then he's like, hey, you know, we could just put babies in jail. We got any cages? Because I know where you can get some babies.
And that was what America was relying on to keep us safe, was him in there.
Still is.
I know it.
I think now Kelly is saying, supposedly, that he's done trying to get Trump to do anything that keep him out of trouble. He's like, fuck it. At least the rumored quote was that something along the lines of, fuck it. I don't think he said fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck this, basically. Like, at least if he gets impeached, the national nightmare will be over.
Trying to get him to do something, unless, of course, you're on Fox News, you have to be in the room with him. So I can't blame Kelly on that.
But now it seems like Fox News, the amount of daylight between Fox News and the Trump administration seems to have shrunk to no daylight, to just butted up against each other because they're just saying the exact same things. So I don't know where it's coming from. Is it coming from Fox? Is it coming from Sarah Sanders? Is it coming from Donald Trump? Is it coming from Stephen Miller's tomb? Who knows?
I don't know.
Also, this is Nazi shit. Let's just say that. We've said that. People get mad when you say Nazi shit. But this is white nationalists. This country is pure white. We want white people only. Bullshit. This is some Nazi-ass shit. This is some right-wing, white is right, keep everybody who ain't white out of the country bullshit. If you can justify putting babies in a cage, that is some alt-right, pure white, Ku Klux Klan fucking ass bullshit.
All right, that's the language, but yes, I agree.
And that's Stephen Miller, who is a white supremacist racist.
Beautiful. I saw some Jewish people I know. I do know a few Jewish people.
In Oklahoma?
Well, not out here. From back home before I, wound up where I'm at.
Wait, are you in Oklahoma or Iowa?
Elk City.
So
I'm in Elk City. I got to go.
So you're in Elk City, and what happened? You saw some Jewish people?
I know some people back home. I talked to some Jewish people. Some Jewish people say don't call them Nazis because what Nazis did was a lot worse than putting them in cages, which is true. But then that's kind of how it started, I remember. But then there's other Jewish people that says, no, it is Nazi stuff. But I'm smart enough not to get in the middle of that.
I just feel like we're laying the groundwork for some top-notch Nazi stuff, and I would like to see that not happen in my country.
That would be preferable to me as well.
So if we can put a handle on that, if that means Peter Fonda says some bullshit every once in a while that we don't approve of, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Y'all can try to boycott Peter Fonda's movie, which even now have no idea what that is.
Nobody would have seen it. More people know about it now since you said you was going to boycott it.
Here's the thing. Don't go too far down on Twitter. It will blow your mind. You see a bunch of people upset about the baby cages, and then you follow one thing down. You're like, how they're mad at Peter Fonda. And there's no coming together on it. They're going to be mad about Peter Fonda and will have forgotten that babies were in cages.
I ain't got nothing to say or hear from anyone who thinks babies in cages is what this country should be doing. I don't want to hear what they got to say. I don't want to read what they got to say. I don't want to have anything to do with it, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on the street. If you think a baby needs to be in a cage, don't say a word to me.
Well, Jackie, the Trump Foundation. You got anything you want to say about our president's charitable organization?
I hope I get him on that. He had charity money paying off things left and right. He's just a crook. Every single thing. Man, if in jail, his lawyer Cohen, they're gonna get everything out of him. We're gonna find out. I mean, we already know he's crooked. Everybody knows he's crooked. We know the things that he's admitted to. We know he's crooked. They're going to keep coming up with more and more and more stuff, and Republicans ain't going to do one darn thing about it.
All this stuff is just out in the open, and he's putting babies in cages, and nobody gives a shit. Fuck me.
Nope.
Also, a lot of people
did care. People did care. We raised holy hell about it.
You're right, Jackie. You're right.
People got on the computer because he tried to change it today. We'll see what comes of that. But he had to pull that tail between his legs and turn around on that one. He saw that wasn't a winning hand.
You're right. Somebody there did get him to do something. I don't understand how it happened. It may turn out to be worse for everybody involved, but something did happen because people saw this, a genuine outrage, and were genuinely outraged, and they stood up, and hopefully things are going to be better because of it. I mean, and then, of course, some people also think that can't understand why we're upset about these fake babies in cages when the Clinton Foundation is running a child sex ring.
Oh, hell. I ain't got nothing to say to anybody like that. They can think whatever the hell they want. I know what's going on in the world. I don't need somebody crazy to tell me.
That's it. Say that again, we'll go out on it.
What's that?
Say that again, and then we'll go out on it. Like, if you say that again. Crazy. No, wait. I'm talking over you now. Hold on. That was really good. Now we're going to fuck it up. Okay, say it again. God damn, these phone interviews are for shit. Okay, say it one more time, Jackie.
What am I saying?
I'll just go out on that.
Okay.